AITA for inviting my mother and her husband to my graduation and not telling them I had changed my name. I, 18F, moved out of my mom's house and in with my grandparents 5 months ago, 2 days after I turned 18. I also changed my last name after the move, which is not something I mentioned to either mom or her husband until now. My reason for changing my name is they changed it first. I had my dad's last name, but when my mom married her husband when I was 7, they changed mine to go along with theirs. I never wanted to have his name. I told them that. But Mom told me it was so important that we all have the same last name. Mostly, so her husband would feel like we truly became a family, but also so he could claim me more easily and pick me up from school or dance classes or take me someplace and not be questioned on who he was to me. I will always see it as his trying to claim me. He said it so many times that I was his daughter and I was his kid and stuff of that nature. It got so annoying, and I never wanted to be his kid. I never claimed him back. I have always rejected the idea that he's any kind of parent to me. I hate how territorial he is. I hate how he would lose his temper with people who'd know me as Dad's kid or mention I was Jay's daughter and claim me as his own instead. I told him and Mom how much I hated it, and he told me he was feeding me and raising me and loving me, and that entitled him to be recognized as my dad. My dad died when I was 5. So that's why I wanted to still be his kid. He didn't abandon me or walk out. He loved me, and he died because of a stupid allergic reaction that left me without the most important guy in my life. My mom always defended her husband and told me I should show more appreciation for him because he could leave us, and would I want that? I said yes a few times, and she flipped out so hard. Sometimes I think my mom wanted to send me off the boarding school so I wouldn't ruin her marriage. I know they looked into it, but they would never give me to my paternal family because they still wanted to claim me as theirs. All of this led to a shitty relationship and me moving out as soon as I could, which then led to me changing my last name back and never telling them. But I decided they could see me graduate and find out then. Only they got an email from the school with my full name on it for their tickets, and they were furious that I invited them but didn't tell them. They said I was trying to make a fool out of them. My mom's husband told me I would have left them clueless as I publicly disowned them. I told him I was doing that for years and he never accepted it. They told me I was so thoughtless and petty. AITA? Next story. AITA for not wanting to be my sister's guardian anymore. For some quick backstory and context, I'm a 27M who has no other family besides my younger sister, 10F. Our parents suddenly passed away a little over 3 years ago, and I gained legal custody of her. There's really nothing more aside from considering adoption, but she didn't want that. Also, I will call my sister Kay in this, so I don't give her real name. Not that it helps any, but whatever. I'm also currently a college student and work as a part-time cashier. I have a small but decent home only because I managed to sell my parents. Right after their passing, I was lucky enough to gain legal custody because I graduated high school a few feet prior and my mother was pregnant with my sister shortly after. The legal system is kinda weird in my old state. The first year or two, Kay was manageable, mainly because she was so young and actually listened to disciplinary actions and rules. While she did attempt provoking and disobeying, she usually knew what to do on her own without being babied. Since only last year, however, she started to prove she was getting just as bad as the rest of our generation of troubled kids. To begin, a couple months into the school year, I started getting emails and phone calls from her teachers and principal. They stated I didn't give her any lunch or money, so she would come to school hungry and would cause problems for the school meals. She would regularly forget her schoolwork and manually copy project files from classmates when I explicitly check to see if she has everything and prepare everything for her. Along with this, she constantly tells lies about me to her friends and parents that I punish her excessively harshly, to which her friends' parents start drama with me. This is really only the tip of the iceberg with her out-of-school behavior, which I won't get too far into, but here is some important ones to mention. In the summer, my friends, who have 3 kids, have small barbecues, and we usually hang around for most of one day, and their kids are close in age to Kay. From what their parents file, she occasionally causes drama with the older ones, as well as a bunch of unruly decisions, including cussing and luring them inside the house without permission. She also makes poor choices with our house. We have our own rules and agreed upon chores to do, while I have my own to-do list. However, all of the sudden, she started feeling like she got the rights to complain about it all the time and call me out and cuss at me off and on and physically hit me. I usually discipline her by give-and-take tactics, where, for example, if you do your chores properly, you get, say, an internee hours for the day in return, but if not, TV gets revoked for the day, etc. Plus, explain appropriate behavior and timeouts. I mentioned this to CPS, but they saw it as no reason to worry, that I should be grateful I have a sister who isn't constantly attacking me like everyone else from Gen Z or whatever that's like, and that she has food. She still has a roof, she still has a garden, and a dead-end road to play like before, clean clothes, all that good stuff. They even made the school counselors hold a meeting with me, asking if there was a phase in the family or God knows what, and what I do at home, but they didn't believe me at first. I have never had or will have a physical punishment record, but I still hear everyone say my parenting is harsh. Although this isn't my child, I am all she has. I don't have to take her in. There is foster care, so I decay why everyone's parent says that to me. The last straw was literally just last week after school, which she got in big trouble after I got a phone call and, without asking questions, handled accordingly. After everything, she admits that she was exhausted in science class because I didn't feed her breakfast. None of this was true. We had her scrambled eggs, toast, and orange juice prepared before my morning classes. She just walks out without saying anything to me, even as a parent and guardian. It was just an excuse. I was right. I still question my thoughts on asking CPS to retrieve her for a rehoming, but it's becoming likely at this point because I still have 2+ years of college and my life ahead. Should I either get on her, get her more therapy sessions, or foster care? Next story. AITA for hiding the fact that I own my house and refusing to rent her the room. A little context is due, I suppose. My friend Maddie and I have known each other for over a decade now. We met through mutual friends and have been part of the same social circle ever since. I want to note that Maddie is looking for a new place, due her apartment having its rent increased to something she can't afford. She kept talking to me about this, and even saying things like, "You live all alone in a house, you're so lucky," and the like. I have mentioned my house to her before, but I have never said that I own it. She just assumed that. 2 days ago, a call meeting was held because everyone was so busy we hadn't hung out in weeks and wanted to organize ourselves to get some time together. And amidst planning, I brought up the possibility I can't host because the living with my landlord, and then Maddie's sudden outrage ruined everything. I realized that she was confused about something, and I asked,